Hey, good morning, everyone. Today on this What Are You Going to Do About It Wednesday, I want to talk about grace. So it's no secret, I was brought up in the church. And I often tell people that the church both saved my life and also kind of held me in bondage. Like I feel even today, sometimes I feel like I am in prison because I'm consistently studying the Word, but at the same time, when you have years of teaching something that you feel is incorrect, it's been ingrained in you, but at the same time, you do your own studying and you're constantly fighting with that, with what you believe to be true versus what you believe that's basically been perverted and told to you in an incorrect way. Not blaming anyone, because I wholeheartedly believe that every pastor and minister, for the most part, they are ministering in a way that they believe is correct, and they're teaching from their understanding. Well, for me, like I said, it's a bit of bondage because the way that I received the word that was being ministered all the time. I feel like when I was growing up, a lot of times the ministry was way too much about hellfire and brimstone. And me, with my childlike mind, I couldn't really decipher between, examples versus real life. It was all a bit jumbled for me. And so because of that, I tried to live a life of perfection. Now, what I know now is that because of the way that I was taught and the way that I understood it as a child through therapy and age and wisdom, what I know now is that my motivation for living by the Bible and living this life of perfection was just so that bad things would stop happening. And so, again, I think there was this over focus on hellfire and brimstone and sin versus grace, right? So, so again, I did all these things, just saying, well, if I just do everything right according to the Bible, if I just treat people right, these bad things will stop happening, and I won't go to hell. All of these things. But we're taught when we're young, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And the thing is, that couldn't be further from the truth. But because I can tell you that those words that came out of, some of my elders' mouths really did hurt me. This is extremely personal, but I think it's important. I haven't been shy about talking about being molested at a very young age. Being raped at a very young age, multiple times over. And so you couple that with going to church and in children's ministry, the way that they tried to scare us into staying virgins. They would often talk about virtuous woman and what a virtuous woman was and how she kept her virginity, which in and of itself has a strong level of misogyny, but that's another subject for another day. But anyway, those words stayed with me, and they talked about how if you weren't a virgin, then you weren't a virtuous woman, and you were filthy rags, and whatever else that's stated in the Bible about not being a virgin. Now, what they didn't do is talk about forgiveness and talk about the grace and talk about if things like that happen to you, it's not your fault. You don't have a choice. As a kid, thinking with a very childlike mind, again, those things were confusing. I also want to say something. I share things because I want to help people, right? I'm sharing very personal, very intimate pieces of my life because I believe that there are people out there who are going through the same types of situations that I can help because I have gone through those things, right? Every day, like, my mission is to be a better person, and part of being a better person is, kind of helping to share those things that I've learned along this journey. I'm not a motivational speaker. I do not ascribe to the title of a mentor or a minister or any of those things. I am just a human being. The only thing that I attach to me is being a human being, living a very human experience, and trying to get through this thing called life as a human, as a flawed human who goes through human experiences. And I think all of us can agree that that's what we're all trying to do. So back to grace. How our words are impactful. I told the story about the sexual molestation and the pastors and their words, and then what I didn't say is that I was also being accused many times when I was not sexually active of having sex by various people, and I wasn't having sex. But because of those words, because of feeling dirty, because of, feeling lost, and because of the accusations, I very naively, as a child, decided to, make that move. So be careful about the conversations that you have, the words that you use, the things that you tell people, and understand that words absolutely have power. The Bible teaches us that life and death are in the power of the tongue. Psychologists, those who are thought leaders, they often talk about, words and what you say and what you put into the atmosphere, what things that you tell yourself, those are the things that you believe. The things that you tell other people, that's what they believe as well. But anyway, one of the struggles that I've had is that, again, because of that struggle between, that constant push and pull between myself and the understanding of the word and trying to be a better person, I struggle with hurting people. I struggle with sin, and doing people, just treating people unkindly. And so what I struggle with is there are things that I've done 25 years ago, 30 years ago, that still pop up in my memory. And I forget that game that you play where the moles or whatever they are pop up and you keep hitting them. Again, through therapy, I have tools now where I keep knocking those things down because, they're so far gone. And the rational part of me knows that, 30 years ago, I was a child. So even though I did those things, it's not like they don't count, but I didn't know any better. But I still struggle with that right and wrong and forgiving myself. The fact of the matter is no one is perfect. No one. We all fall short. We all do things to people. We're all living this human experience. We all have said things or done things that we regret and we wish that we could take back. Everybody has done it. And so one of the things I am clear on is I'm very clear about giving other people grace. I'm very clear about, don't judge that person because you don't know what they're going through. You don't understand their trials and tribulations. But what I'm not good about is knowing in my heart that I'm very remorseful, that I'm sorry about things that I've said or I've done. So much so that I've gone back to people when I have memories from 25, 30 years ago. I go back to those people and I apologize. And my husband, and when I was in therapy, they would often tell me, let it go. Give yourself some grace. And so that's what I'm learning to do, even though it's been told to me, for years. It's just starting to sink in. I've been sincere in my apologies. I tell you, a lot of times with a lot of us, when we make mistakes, no one punishes us more than we punish ourselves. And I think that when other people make mistakes and we're sitting here looking from the outside in, we need to remember that. We need to remember to give people grace because we're all living this human experience. Not to say that people don't deserve to deal with the consequences, because for every action there is a reaction. But the fact of the matter is, there's none, not one of us who has not made a mistake. So, excuse me, what I've learned or what I understand today is I'm quick to forgive others. I'm quick. Again, another thing with Christianity is just forgive. The Bible says that God forgets. It never said that we had to. So that's another perversion that was kind of built in me that I've since learned is not correct. But forgiveness, we're commanded to forgive. And I'm quick to forgive other people, but I'm not so quick to forgive myself. So what I'm going to do about it is I'm going to continue to give myself grace. I'm going to continue to learn and fight against those things that want me to condemn myself for whatever bad action I've taken. I'm going to fight against those things. I'm going to remember because it's necessary so that I don't make the same mistake again and hurt other people. But I'm going to give myself grace. I'm going to constantly remind myself that I'm a human being living a human experience. And I can ask people for forgiveness. And I can put my heart out there and show how much I am remorseful. But the fact of the matter is they don't have to forgive me. And they won't always forgive me. And they're going to continue on about their life, have their thoughts, their feelings, and that's their journey. But my journey is to learn from my mistakes, to forgive others, and forgive myself. So that's what I'm going to do about it. I'm going to continue on this journey of forgiveness and grace. And I pray that for each of you, you will do the same for yourself. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Give yourself some grace. You're a human being. You're nothing more than that. You are a human living a very human experience. Despite how other people may see you, how they treat you, how they may hold you to another standard because all they've seen is perfection, or what they think they've seen as perfection. And you mess up one time and they want to crucify you. Acknowledge your mistake. Go to whoever you believe in and ask for forgiveness. Ask those people that you hurt for forgiveness. Learn the lesson and give yourself some grace. Give yourself grace. I pray that each of you are, I pray that I'm helping someone. I pray that it helps you because sharing these things also helps me. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do about it. All right, you guys, have an amazing day, amazing week. Walk in grace, walk in love, and until